A pleasant good afternoon to you all. Big Polly coming to you this May 8th, 2026 with some matches from RCW as we invade the Eastern Circuit. And we have had 4 bouts which we will be going over with. Is that how you say that? Over with you in a few moments. We're getting our indie tag title bout set up first, and I will take care of that forthwith. As it'll be the Kalmakovs taking on the original Russian tag team, the Kalmakovs, the team of Ivan and Carol Kalmakov. They will be taking on the Hart Foundation for the indie tag titles, and we'll get this bout in the ring. But first, let's go through the 4 other matches on the indie card. It was Antonio Inoki and Tetsui Fujinami against Rep Hawk and Swede Hansen, and Inoki and Fujinami won by countout at 13:02. Gory Guerrero went to a draw with Chris Tolos, making his RCW debut. Bill Goldberg won by DQ over Giant Haystacks when Big Van Vader interfered, and Mil Mascaras defeated Larry Henning by pin at 13:45. So we'll get this bout in the ring. Well, we already have it in the ring. Just do the strategical sets. Hart Foundation 4-0-3 as indie tag team champions. And the Kalmakovs have started their RCW career with 1 draw. So that was why they got the title shot. And this bout, let me double check, make sure I'm on. Excellent. Okay, did that already. And off we go. 60-minute time limit. Blood rule is waived, as is the case for all of our RCW contests. And it's the Hearts off to a good start. They had a battle with the Rock and Roll Express, who just won the World Tag Titles back from the Kangaroos. They took them to a double count out some weeks ago. It's early. No blood drawn yet. Right when I say that, we have a chair shot on to Bret Hart by Carol Kalamakoff has busted open Bret with a chair shot at 12:27. And on we go with Bret sustaining that cut, and the Kalmakoffs have gained the upper hand. The Indies is the place to be if you have had less than 3 matches, although there were exceptions, and we will see some people, grapplers in the East making their debuts, but they were kind of grandfathered in before the rule took full effect. Now the Hearts make a comeback, draw to about even pecking as we go to the 20-minute mark. Kalmakovs have not scored a pin attempt yet. And off we go. Double X handle does not get a pin, but it drew another pin attempt. Another pin try here after a stomp. Last time we saw the Hearts, they double count outed with the Masked Assassins. And the Kalmakoffs went to a draw with the Flying Scots, who at one point were the Northern Tag Champs. Back and forth battle. Kalmakoffs with the Ed as we head to the halfway mark. The Hearts have been rallying back from behind at least a couple of times in this bout. They're trying to do it again. Base break on the rope. More double team moves, and the Kalmakoffs could be walking away with the Indie Tag Team titles here. Play attempt. Back and forth bout between these two teams. Kalmakoffs 2 matches away from joining the Big Four. Unless they're champions, then they would stay grandfathered in until they lose. Heart attack. This could do it. Does not do it. And we go on at the 43-minute mark with the Kalmakoffs with a slight lead. They've only scored 1 pin attempt, while the Hearts have scored 9. Pretty good bout to start our action tonight here on Retro Championship Wrestling. Hangman's Noose. Pin attempt. And the pin attempt's now picking up for the Kalmakoffs. They've scored 2 in the last few minutes. But this is neck and neck as we go down to the last 10 minutes, and a flying leg drop has pinned Carol Kalmakoff. So the Hearts with a very thorough test, but they retain by pin at 50-22, and they move on to defend their title on a 5-star bout. So this was an excellent bout. Good way to start our card, our televised card. It's one of those good losses for the Kalmakoffs. So I will do some tabulating, and I'll be back with you for our undercard in the East region right after this. And we kick off our normal card here in the East with this bout between Otto Wands, former AWA champ, and Billy Joyce. Otto is 3-2. And Joyce coming in at 2-4-5. Joyce, a British grappler, and Wands is from Germany, if I am not mistaken. So Joyce is going to have to change his strategy around to be in this bout. Otto got into a hot start in the Southern Circuit, defeating Cavanario Galindo, Murcielago Velasquez, and Dr. Wagner Jr., but then lost to Jack Dempsey and Horst Hoffman in more recent bouts. It's a 30-minute time limit bout as we make it to the regular portion of the card. Joyce is on a 3-match streak without defeat. He took He defeated Jim Lundos by pin, and then drew with Vern Gagne and George Kidd in more recent bouts, taking them to time limit. Giant Splash, and we have outside interference that's going to break this one up and going to give Once the win by DQ. Don Leo Jonathan interfered, we will say. Which will likely set up a bout between those two next week. In fact, I'm going to make a note of that. So we have another bout coming up for you here on RCW. And it's Black Gordman and Grand Goliath, who we have seen a few times in recent weeks. The team from New Mexico, as they were jokingly referred to in terms of where they emanated from. And they get Don Curtis and Mark Lewin, who were Northeast Power back in the day. And they are making their debut. They're filling in for the British Bulldogs because of interference in a recent bout they had in terms of Mark Rocco. So Gordman and Goliath, who have yet to win in RCW. We'll see how they do in this bout. Don Curtis, of course, a little more well known for being a promoter out of Jacksonville, was a frequent visitor to CWF back in the 70s. And it's Curtis and Lewin dominant early, but the tide turning a little bit against them. As we approach the midway point of this bout. Am I on? Let me just double check. Yep, I am on. I've been doing this 5 minutes. Okay. Curtis and Lewin way ahead at the halfway point. Can that translate into a victory here? We will see. Foreign object. And that's it. Curtis got clocked with a chain. And that ends his night. Gordman and Goliath pick up their first win in RCW with that sudden exchange. At 1924, it was Goliath hitting Curtis after use of a foreign object. So a big win for them. 234, 214, 3.5. And we're set for our third bout. Now, if you go on YouTube, I think there were bouts between Dynamite Kid and Mark Rocco that are on there. There was a title bout. Okay, Dynamite's not in the European set. He might be in the Master. Yes, he is. I think it was Dynamite. It might be Davey Boy Smith he faced too. Uh, they had some title bouts that ended inconclusively, at least one that I remember seeing. Well, both heels here will make Kid the hometown tweener. Rocco making his debut. And actually, Kid is making his debut as a single. But this bout was set up before we defined the rules on the Indies. So this should be a high stakes bout, fast moving bout. And off we go between these two. Oh, Rocco cut right away. As I've mentioned before, uh, British wrestling has weight classes like boxing does. Scoop Power Slam does not get the pin. And Dynamite Kid slightly ahead. As we head to the halfway mark. Rocco's been picking up pin attempt after pin attempt. He's up 5-1 at the moment as we head home after the halfway point. Flying headbutt pin. And that is it. Dynamite Kid defending his honor after he was attacked by Rocco last week. 1843. Flying headbutt does the job. And that was a 3-star bout. All right. So we move on to another bout featuring somebody making their debut as the Eastern Circuit going through a little turnover here. It is Big Daddy who's going to be taking on the One Man Gang who made an appearance last week. I would do it, One Man Gang's war cry, but I don't want to blow out your ears if you got headphones on. So a battle of big men. I would use the big men card, but I have the records. Just for record keeping purposes, I'm going to just use the regular cards. These guys go 30 minutes without having heart trouble. I will be surprised, but both are going to have to use some strategies they don't normally use to get a win here. Let's see what happens. Oh, the bout doesn't even get started. No contest at 10 seconds as they both go to the plunder and use chairs on each other. So that was a waste. But a debut for Gang. We'll see him in the Indies a little later on, I guess. So this will be like a double disqualification, double count out. So a battle of rule breakers to wrap up the non-title portion of the card. It's between Ric Flair, woo, and Horst Hoffman, who has been a mainstay of RCW so far. Flair and Greg Valentine were the Eastern Tag Champs for a stretch before they won the Brass Knucks title, before they were defeated for that title by Bruce Brody, Stan Hansen. So this should be an interesting bout. Flair is 4-4-2, and Hoffman is like a highway in the Midwest, 474, 4 wins, 7 losses, 4 draws. Well, Highway 74 is actually like goes through North Carolina, so I'm in the wrong part of the country. I'm thinking in the wrong part of the country. So on we go, 30-minute time limit. Flair runs hot and cold. We haven't seen him in the ring as a single since beating Andre the Giant by a countout. And he's putting early pressure on Hoffman with some penetries. And Flair is cut. Big surprise there. And a little more blood oozing out of the one of the all-time greats, I guess you could say. 17-time world champion. As we were pointing out on a previous episode, that's not compared to how many times Jerry Lawler has been champ, except that Flair's runs were for, quote, the world title. Not counting all the times he held the U.S. title in the NWA WCW. Hoffman is off to a good start as we head home from the midway point, and Flair is just cut worse now. We play on. They're at a distinct disadvantage with all that blood just pouring out of them. He bleeding himself good. Full Nelson does not get a submission. And Hoffman cut. Blair will do good to get to a draw here. Could he wind up winning this? We'll see. Less than 5 minutes. Submission will not. I don't count submissions when that last number is a 0. Choking by Flair? Nope. Figure 4? Nope. Pile driver. And he gets the figure 4 on just as the bell rings. Flair did well to get to a time limit draw there at 30 minutes. So there you go, folks. That was our prelim card. We'll be back with the title matches right after this. You're watching Retro Championship Wrestling on the Big Paulie's World of Sports Sims channel. And we're heading home now on this edition of Retro Championship Wrestling in the Eastern Circuit, Week 15. With our 3 title bouts, and we have our first title bout in the ring. It's the team, unlikely babyface team of Ron Starr and Adrian Adonis taking on the Blackjacks. The Blackjacks have been undefeated so far in RCW with 2 wins, no losses, and a draw. And Adonis and Starr won 2 Battle Royals to become the 2-time Eastern Tag Team title holders. They are 0-1-4 in other bouts, though. So let's see what they could do against this rough and tumble team of Blackjacks, who were, of course, the tag team champs in the WWF at one point. Maybe some other places. Were they ever tag team title holders in the AWA? I'm wondering about that. And off we go. This is one fall, 60-minute time limit. For the title to change hands, the title must be won by a pinfall or a submission. Win by countout, it doesn't count. Although you would get a rematch. Chokeslam by Lanza does not get a pin. You would think that the challengers would be heavy favorites in this bout. Claw by Mulligan, and that does not get a submission try, so we just discard it. 10 minutes in, the Blackjacks with a slight lead, and we have a cut. We have a cut on, we will say, Adrian Adonis. A trickle of blood. At 13-minute mark. We'll see if that worsens as the bout goes on. Past 15 minutes, and the Blackjacks have now opened up a pretty good lead. Foreign object. This might do it. This does do it. And the Blackjacks are the brand new Eastern Tag Team title holders. 19:11 your time. as Lanza. Using that old salt that we often see in the grappling game. And the Blackjacks win their first title. So let me do a little work here and go to East. Blackjacks on the 115 East show. There you go. Tag summary. I'll keep Adonis and Star in the East Circuit. With their one loss record so bad, who's going to battle them? So they are the champions now. And we will do that with Adonis and Star. Okay. So that bout is in the can. Congratulations to the Blackjacks. And we got our next bout in the ring. Oh, by the way, George Kidd is going to be sick or ill. I did a draw before the bout began. Rolled a 100-sided die via roll a die on the internet 26 times. It did not produce a 100, but Kidd had the highest draw. So he will be ill with this bout with Murcielago Velasquez. And I'm going to check to make sure I have that spelt. And I don't. So I fixed it. And he's been the Eastern champ a while. Way to get George Kidd tonight, who was great in the lighter heavyweight ranks. He was like a featherweight. So he's probably one of the best little guys of all time. Velasquez will have the added benefit, as we said, Kidd to injured, ill, what have you, of not having to lose. He only has to lose the title by pin for him to lose the title. And Kidd comes in. Well, his one loss record, not all that great, but he was grandfathered in because he won on last week's card. The Houdini of the mat. This is a one fall, 60-minute time limit bout. And of course, in British wrestling, they had rounds. I've used the round system that Wrestling's Finest had and wasn't all that keen on it. And plus, they recognized that, our kind of wrestling didn't have time limits, didn't have rounds. They tried it in LA once, I think, in the 60s. I saw a bout once with Freddie Blassie where it went 4 rounds. I don't know if they used 3-minute rounds or 5-minute rounds, but Kidd's off to a good start here as we blaze through the first 10 minutes. Pin attempt, no, by the champ. Kidd has not lost in his last 2 bouts, and Velasquez has won all of his last 3. He beats men bigger than him. He beat Tanoa Bore, the sumo star out of Japan, and he's beaten Roland Bock twice. And we're going to see Roland Bock in our next bout. He's going for the world title against Nick Bockwinkel. So it's a battle of the Bocks. And Kid cut. And it's a pretty good cut, a minus 22. See if Kid can overcome it. It's been even Stevens now. La Filomena, whatever that hold is, does not get the pin. And Velasquez has opened up a little bit of a lead. And Kid is cut open again. At 24-41. And a pin attempt on Kid does not work. Pin attempts have been 5 to Kid and 4 to Velasquez. Backbreaker by Kid does not get a pin. And we are closing in on, well, we've just gone past halfway. "34 minutes gone by. I should probably see what's happening with my phone. Oh, it's just an ad. Okay, folks, sorry for the very brief delay. Ball roll pin, and we have a new champion. So 2 title changes already today as George Kidd has done it and is the new Eastern champion. That came out of nowhere, or seemingly it did. Good bout. Velasquez heads back to his Southern circuit after a tour of duty as the Eastern champion. So 2 title bouts and 2 title changes. We'll see if we have that in our third title bout. Although I think Bock would have to be quite an underdog. George Kidd with the win. And Mercy goes back to his Southern region. And we will add the name of George Kidd. So he actually only held the title 2 weeks. You think sometimes doing these that's longer. So now Kidd is the champ. And we'll see who rises up to face him next week. But on to our world title bout. Now, I'm just going to check real fast to see what Bockwinkel's record was pre-championship. He did lose to somebody. Well, I can't do it from here. We'll check it. And he will be led to the ring by Bobby the Brain. We use his World Championship card, and he gets Roland Bock. I could check it when we get to the match screen. So he's 5-0 as a world champ. And well, this isn't it. It'll be the next one. Stand by, folks. Just doing a little records check. Doing my record keeping right in front of you. Yeah, he went 3-1, so he's 8-1. Facing Roland Bock, who was 8-3. So this ought to be a good one. We'll see how much of a bout the Bock gives him. Lost to Horse Hoffman, and then he lost twice in a row to Murcielago Velasquez, who we just saw lose to George Kidd. And off we go. Last time we saw Bockwinkel in the ring, he just barely survived to beat Standalari at Hansen by countout. So we'll see what happens in this Battle of the Bocks. And Bock off to a good start, the challenger. Headbutt to the groin by Bockwinkel. Gets a pin attempt. Chair shot to the back of Bockwinkel by Bock. Suplex attempt. Bockwinkel taking a pounding so far as we have gone past the first 10 minutes. And Bobby Heenan nailing Bock with a foreign object, some sort of metal object. And that might turn the tide a little bit here. Chair shot across the arm. Bock being a chairman of the board here in this title bout. And a cut on the champion. Surprised they're letting Bock just nail him with everything that isn't tied down. Chops to the throat of Roland Bock. Does not get the pin. As we head up to the 20-minute mark, with the challenger leading a flying knee drop, gets it. So Bockwinkel pulls that rabbit from out of the hat from out of nowhere, and he will retain the title tonight in the Eastern Circuit. Nice come from behind win for Nick. And that's what the great champions do, is they find ways to win, and that was exactly what was exhibited here in the Eastern Circuit. So Bockwinkel heads to week 16, your world champ. That's for Bockwinkel. All right. And you want to see my ongoing history with Retro Championship Wrestling? Go to the Delphi Group, Wrestling's Finest Delphi Group. Just Google that. You'll find it. and my posts will be there. This has been Big Polly coming to you. We will be back with you Monday with some more Big Polly's World of Sports Hibs action. We'll be going back to college basketball 75-76. Look forward to doing it then. Have a good weekend, everybody. Godspeed and God bless. And bye-bye for now, everybody.